After the recap from the last episode, we cut to 2 weeks prior to the event where Jack is being inspected by the Fenris Rangers, and they take a crate of phasers to take out the warlords of the planet below, while Jack helps treat the civilians. That would be a great plan if the guy wasn't two-faced. I mean, literally and, well, metaphorically. He contacts the marked lady, taking us to present day. Jack informs Picard that they have been hunted for a while, first by Rangers, then Klingons, and even Starfleet. Picard wants to hail them and strike an accord, but...
Computer, threat assessment.
Unidentified vessel presently targeting all ship systems. Probability of destruction 100%.
To be fair, I don't think you can trust 25th century modern computers, since Picard's couldn't even find his communicator. Picard, Riker, and Jack devise a plan to get Beverly to the shuttle and get her to the Titan. We cut to the Titan where Shaw won't move in to save Picard because they wouldn't be in Federation space and wouldn't have any jurisdiction there. Seven wants to move in to save Picard, but Shaw won't have it because it would risk the crew of the ship. Again, people shit on Shaw, but I honestly think he is in the right mindset.
Right as Jesus was dying, he raised his hand and said, "The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few."
Dude, that was Star Trek again. Huh? The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few? That was Wrath of Khan.
But we were also taught,
because the needs of the one outweigh the needs of the many.
the Shrike circles the Ilios while Jack is very snarky and quick on his feet. As Jack leaves, Riker points out he's familiar. Well, he isn't bold, maybe my theory was right. The Shrike fires phasers on the shuttle as the stasis pod is losing power. Or is it a medical pod? I'm not sure, but they can't move. A great opening to the episode. It's tense while establishing the tension on both the Titan, which faces the dilemma of saving Picard and Riker, and Picard, where he is stranded, no way off, and no weapons, with Beverly's life in the balance. We cut back to Los Angeles, where Raffi is sulking over the deaths of 117 people. Raffi wants to go after the Ferengi Sneed, who is covering up who actually attacked Starfleet. I think it's safe to say Worf is the handler, right?
Do not seek blame. Do not seek anger.
I mean, that's basically something he would say. Anyway, he tells her to back off since Starfleet has closed the investigation. But Raffi will continue to investigate on her own. Seven confronts Shaw and appeals to his heroism to save Picard and Riker. Riker and Jack discuss ideas on how to get out of the situation, while Picard puts up transporter inhibitors to stop the Shrike from transporting them. However, now Picard and Riker know that their goal is to get Jack and not them. Riker gets a plasma charge and takes out two of Vadic's soldiers. Again, based Riker. However, they use a tractor beam to pull up the Ilios. It's all looking hopeless.
Well, it was nice meeting you.
Yeah, I'm sure he's just saying that to Picard as a person. No connection here whatsoever, guys. Yeah, I guess Shaw is just a giant softie.
Bring them all on board. We're basically a hotel now.
Again, Shaw is just being funny. Picard takes out the inhibitors so that the Titan can transport them. Raffi meets up with her ex-boyfriend and he's a little pissed at her because she's very obsessed with her work and last time she fell off doing drugs. She isn't in a good place with her son since Raffi tried to see her granddaughter. So he offers her a choice. Put in a good word with her son, or using his underworld connections, get her in contact with Sneed. I'm really starting to like this character. She's willing to give up a chance to make amends with her son to see her granddaughter for the greater good. As the Shrike circles the Titan like a predator, Seven thinks it's time to book it, but Shaw wants to see what this ship wants and why. They are held by the Shrike, and Vadic is such a delight. Unlike Khan, she is actually taking so much glee that she is holding all the cards. With Khan, there is a seriousness to him, and while he had his moments with Kirk, he was mainly dead serious.
Cry havoc! And let's slip the dogs of war!
With Vadic, she seems so happy to poke holes into Shaw, making reference to his psychological profile and calling him Liam. This hints at why he has hang up with the Borg from episode 1, and it also gives a potential clue as to how she's able to know this sensitive information. She also mocks Picard's synthetic body, which, yeah, we can all mock. She makes it clear that she is a bounty hunter and wants Jack Crusher only. They scan the ship, and yeah, it is loaded to high heaven. However, there is one unknown weapon to them, and the camera pans to Jack, looking away. That is very suspicious. I hope maybe they explain this in episode 3 or 4 or some way down the line that isn't stupid. Vadic then uses the tractor beam to throw the Helios at the Titan. Holy fuck.
I swear I've seen a lot of stuff in my life, but that was awesome.
What did she just do?
She threw a ship at us. Sir.
Again, love the professionalism, Sydney. Sydney explains how the Shrike was able to do it.
Reverse tractor beam with anti-gravitational polarity phasing. Basically blunt force trauma. If my father taught me anything, there's no law of physics that can't be either weaponized or broken.
But I just chalk it up to...
I reversed the polarity of the neutron flow.
I've reversed the polarity of the neutron flow.
Reverse the polarity.
Reverse the polarity of the neutron flow.
Shaw tries to come up with ideas to getting out of the situation. However, he realizes he's cornered. Riker and Picard try to get information out of Jack, but Shaw takes him to the brig because he has reason to believe that Jack is a con man. It's very Han Solo-like. While Seven tries to speak up about her prior experience, Shaw shuts her down, since, well, Seven put them there in this situation. He has every right to be pissed. Shaw might lose his ship, but most importantly, the 500 lives that work on that ship. Shaw wants to throw the book at all 4 of them, but Riker stands up to him, arguing that Starfleet doesn't surrender to hostile intent. However, Shaw won't budge. His loyalty is to the safety of his crew. You could say this is Shaw's Kobayashi Maru. Picard persuades Shaw to speak to Jack as Riker asks Picard why he is avoiding the giant elephant issue in the brig.
Why are you dancing around this? Around what? Are you serious?
I mean, once again, based Riker. Picard doesn't want to face the facts that Riker is putting right in front of his face. Picard interrogates Jack about his past crimes, and he is defending himself as to why he had to do what he had to do. Picard then states that Beverly wouldn't permit this, to which Jack responds with,
"When was the last time you even spoke to my mother? Is there anybody you know who is still the person you knew?"
This also shows how much Beverly has changed as a character since the events of Nemesis. When Picard asks the question, the audience wants to confirm. He says,
"Who is your father?"
"I never had one."
I think Picard knows, he just doesn't want to accept it at this point. Back to Matalas 2019, Raffi meets with Sneed, and while she tries to bluff him, she is forced to do drugs in order to prove that she is in Starfleet. Which, wow, that's just cruel. That really is. Making a former drug addict do drugs to prove that she isn't in Starfleet. I don't know, I hope this is just a one-time thing, because I really liked her character from the last episode and the beginning of this episode. Anyway, Sneed was just playing with her because he already killed the guy she said she was working for. However, surprise to surprise, Worf comes in and starts fucking murdering people, like fucking people up. I mean, damn dude, it's just so awesome. He even cuts off Sneed's head, which is fucking brutal. I don't know how I feel about Worf beheading Sneed. For me, I think it's just that bit too much violent. I mean, I saw the season 1 bit where I think Elron, or that's a Romulan dude, he cuts off some dude's head, and I didn't like it there. And I'm not really a big fan of it here, but it was pretty cool to see him fuck up some people. Yeah, so this just confirms that Worf is the handler. And also, jumping back to the decapitation, it is also poetic justice, because, I mean, Sneed cut off the dude's head, that Romulan guy, and then Sneed gets his head cut off by Worf. And, yeah, we get the Goldsmith Klingon music, which is just badass.
I told you, do not engage.
Riker and Picard try to persuade Shaw that they shouldn't hand him over.
And how do we even know he really is her kid?
Again, Shaw is providing valid criticisms. He doesn't know who this kid is, since he has a lot of identities. He's not particularly a saint, because he smuggles weapons. He's basically the Han Solo of the season, plus the extreme daddy issues. Jack escapes the cell with some sort of force field dampener. Meanwhile, Riker wakes up Beverly. As we draw this episode to a close, the tension between Shaw and Picard is rising as Vadic contacts them. She basically gives a villain monologue about her ship. I really like what we have seen of her so far. She is very reserved when she needs to be, but she is very campy in her betrayal, and that's not a bad thing, but she feels like an original series villain rather than a TNG villain, and I'm all for it.
That was terrific standing up.
Damn it, give Shaw his own show. Todd Stashwick is just chewing up and spewing up one-liners. I love it. Seven finds Jack trying to unlock the transporter to beam himself across to the strike. Shaw tells his crew to unlock them, but then a ghost from Picard's past awakes. And it is one of the most moving scenes in Star Trek to date. Okay, I don't know where to begin with this scene. I'll probably go by frame if I can with this, because it's just so great. I love that Riker helps Beverly to the bridge. A very beautiful moment to see those two enter the bridge of the Titan together. As Picard stares, Beverly looks away, ashamed, when she finally looks up on the verge of tears at Picard. There is a beat where it finally sinks in, where he now accepts that all the clues and hints with Jack beforehand and why he hasn't seen Beverly for 20 years. He realizes that the truth of the information was right in front of him the whole time. He closes his eyes with regret. Then he springs into action, using his former admiral position to lock everything down.
Why are you doing this?
Because he's my son.
I love that he has finally accepted that Jack is his son.
God damn it.
Tactical, full power to forward shields. LaForge, get ready to fly.
And it's great that Shaw does have a heart underneath. He communicates to the Shrike and he gives one word that has defined him for years, and no matter what, he defies the odds.
And your answer?
Engage!
The Titan fires 3 photon torpedoes and takes off into the nebula with the Shrike in pursuit. Meanwhile, Vadic laughs because she knows
the thrill is in the chase,
never in the capture.
And that's it. Cut to black. God damn. If the first episode was the setup, this had payoffs to those setups. Not all of them. However, we were able to get the answers to who Raffi's handler was. Is Jack Crusher Picard's son? Is Beverly okay? Will Shaw help Picard and Riker? And will Riker stop stealing the show? Jonathan Frakes is a treasure. The next episode seems to be much like The Wrath of Khan, where the Enterprise had to hide in the nebula, and it was a submarine battle. So with the technology we have now, I am interested as to how we will depict the ship-on-ship battle in next week's episode. Raffi's storyline is getting a little more interesting with the inclusion of Worf, but I still think that cutting back to her on Matalas Prime just brings the episode down a bit from the first two episodes, because it doesn't feel like it's connected to the events that's happening. Maybe in future episodes it gets fleshed out and it's a lot better, but for now it's very dry. It loses the pace of the episode. I still have a problem with the decapitation. However, it was awesome to see Worf being a badass. Even if people thought he was a pacifist, no, he said he prefers it, doesn't mean he is a full-blown pacifist. Next week's episode is titled 17 Seconds. This has gotten more interesting, and I'm very curious as to what comes next week's episode. I hope that we focus less on Raffi, but probably we'll still get the same amount, and I hope they improve on her story. But I'm very interested with the battle in the nebula. Hopefully, next week's episode is, again, an improvement of episode 1 and 2. It's getting a lot better. So, thank you all for watching. I'll catch you guys next week, and please watch this series, because I think it's gonna get even better based on the reviews. Please like, comment, subscribe, and if you don't like this, please dislike it and comment below. Thank you very much, and have a lovely day.